Good morning. Welcome back to the channel. Nick Can't Game, or can he? I hope you're all having a wonderful Friday. Heading towards the weekend. It'll be here really soon. Thought I'd get a video in here for you today before therapy shows up to work on me. And if you like these videos, hit the like, subscribe, and notification bells here on YouTube, and you'll be notified whenever a new video comes out. That having been said, let's dive back into the game. We are just about 2 weeks out from the next in-game time, from the next premium live event, WCW Slamboree, and we're going to start building towards that. As you can see here, we're on Monday, May 5th. We've got our tonight's show, Nitro, booked out. It's a really angle-heavy show, so hopefully that will get us quite a bit more approval rating. And again, we do have this fully booked out. And let's get it going. Let's start the show. Alright. Our show opener gets a 93%. Most people gain popularity, except for Brock, who slightly loses some, and Mandy, who doesn't gain any popularity. Our announcers talk about the show, the matches that are going to be happening. Daria and Mandy defending the women's tag team titles, and Joe Hendry and Nick Nemeth having a match towards the main event. And again, most everybody gains popularity. 78% approval rating. And next, the owner of WCW announces the location for the next pay-per-view, which is the Slamboree, and that's going to be happening in Philadelphia in just about 2 weeks' time. And that gets a 92% approval rating. And then we get a video recap of the feud between Brock Lesnar and Joe Hendry. And the star power adds to the story beat, 96% approval rating there. Then Joe makes his entrance into the arena. He starts cutting a promo about Brock and letting everybody know that he's going to be coming after that title, and he intends on winning it at the next premium live event. Then Brock shows up to interrupt the promo. They have a bit of a stare down, and then they start fighting each other. They go at it full tilt. It's what some of the old-time wrestling announcers would call a Pier 6 brawl. They're really going at each other. And then several staff members come in, grab them and start pulling them apart and getting them separated. And that whole segment overall gets a score of 88%. Next is a women's tag title match. The team of the Beautiful Disasters, Mandy and Daria, versus the Iconics of Jesse and Cassie. They're all riding waves of momentum. The agent thing is really helping everybody's performance. It's a 2-star match, 95% crowd approval for an 81% final score. And Mandy and Daria retain their belts. Nobody really gains any popularity, and I guess Cassie was the one taking the pin, so she slightly loses popularity. Next, after the match, Mercedes jumps in the ring. We continue that feud. She she goes to town on Mandy, starts beating the absolute hell out of her, and when Mandy's down on the ground, she grabs a microphone and really goes off on her and cuts a promo. They're going to be having their first actual match probably at the premium live event at Slamboree. And that gets an 84% final score. Next, we have a television title defense. This title is defended on every episode of Nitro, and all matches have a 10-minute time limit. This is going back to tradition when I was started watching WCW back in like 89, 90. This was a thing they did. The title had to be defended on every episode, and it was 10-minute matches or less. In this case, we have the television champion Mystico going up against Simon Miller, and looks like it was a 9-minute match, 2.5-star match quality rating, 72% crowd approval for a final score of 69. They were putting in huge efforts. The crowd was really behind it and enjoyed the entrances. Among other things, the agent did well putting it together, and Mystico retains his title. Going up in popularity for the successful title defense, while Simon slightly loses with a because he lost the match. After the match, they Mystico helps Simon up. They shake hands, and we get a 75% for that show of respect. Next, we have an interview in the back with the former Rio 1, who's now going by the name of Enzo Scarnt, taking the Enzo name from his time in WWE and coming up with something that rhymes with his actual last name. So she goes and interviews him. He starts cutting a promo, and then Raj comes out and attacks him, and our general manager, Bill Goldberg, makes a false count anywhere match for later in the evening so that those two can finally get this out of their system and have an actual match. And our final score for the segment is 68%. Moving on, we have a cruiserweight match between Mustafa Ali and Effie. They had a 3-star match, 64% crowd rating, 66% final score. Boosted performance because of their gimmicks. The chaos really helped the crowd's reaction. As the winner, Mustafa gets a slight boost to his popularity, while Effie slightly loses for losing the match. And then, based on the pool part brawl from earlier, our general manager, Bill Goldberg, comes out and he announces that at Slamboree, Brock Lesnar will have to defend the World Heavyweight Championship against Joe Hendry in the main event of the Premium Live event. 82% approval rating for this segment. Next is a title defense, cruiserweight title defense. Malachi Black defending his title against KSI. They managed to steal the show. They really upped their game. The Asian team really helped the performance. Malachi is on a wave of momentum. The crowd enjoyed the entrances. The agent did a good job putting things together. Malachi's popularity really went up this week after this match. And KSI in the loss slightly lost a little bit of popularity. 2-star match, 84% crowd reaction for 75% overall. Um, Next, we have an advertisement for the latest round of t-shirt releases. We've got new t-shirts from Mandy, Konosuke Takeshita, United States Champion, and Raj Desi, who will be appearing in the match later in the show. We go on to the next is a video recap of the feud between Mandy and Mercedes, and that gets a 93%. We also have a video recap of the feud between Raj and Enzo, and that gets an 80% score. And next we have a tag team championship match, the Hardys versus the Club. They tried to steal the show, they just didn't quite have it. Jeff Hardy gets the pin. They're all really good in tag team situations. It's only a 1.5-star quality match, but 87% crowd approval for a 75% overall score. The Hardys successfully retained the championship. After the match, the club, instead of showing any sportsmanship, they go ape on the Hardys and beat them down and leave them down on the ground. This officially turns the Hardys face, and that gets a final score of 62%. And we move on to the next segment, which is the Falls Count Anywhere match between Enzo Scarnt and Raj Desi. Because they've been attacking each other backstage for several weeks now, they neither gain nor lose popularity. Raj gets a win. There was a really big spot in the match where they were fighting among the crowd, and Enzo got thrown off some equipment. It was only considered a half-a-star quality match, but the crowd was really into it. The crowd reaction was 79%, and the overall score for the match was 67%. And we will see after this whether their feud continues or whether they're both too worn down to keep going at each other. And next we have the main event of the show, Joe Hendry up against Nick Nemeth. And they had boosts to their performances because of their gimmicks. They're both running away from momentum. They put in huge efforts. They had special entrances. And the agent did a good job putting the match together. Joe looked really good in the match and gained a good bit of popularity. He got the win. Nick slightly lost a bit of popularity. It was a 2-star match with an 84% crowd reaction for a 76% overall final score. And after the match, Joe grabs the mic and starts and promises the people that he's going to end the heel Brock Lesnar's reign as champion at Slamboree, and letting the crowd know that he's their man, and he's going to make sure that there's a new champion crowned in less than 2 weeks. And that gets a 96% overall score for the promo. And we end the show, and we have one of our best show ratings yet at 77%, gaining popularity everywhere in the world. That's good. And here we end the show. Okay, and let's check our mail here. We sold 8,700 tickets. That's the most tickets we've sold ever before. 354,000 in ticket sales after giving the money to our workers based on the gate share clauses in their contracts. Um, Almost 2 million viewers. That's good. That's a $295,000 net increase. We have a wrestler accepting a contract offer from us, known as Bobby Tyler, and she's going to be new to our women's division, and we will finalize that contract. Okay. We will check on the news. Has anybody been released that we might want to grab? I don't see anybody. Okay, let's go to the office here. Okay. And we are going to slightly pause because it is getting near the time when my therapist should be showing up. So I'm going to pause for a little while to take care of that. And I will be back shortly. So it took a lot longer than I expected it to, but I am back. It's just been kind of one of those days. So I intended to be back a lot earlier, but sometimes things just don't work out the way we want them to. Anyway, here we are. We have our WCW Thunder Thursday night on Amazon Prime. All booked out. A lot of angles. A few matches. Hoping that the show is going to go well. So we are going to click start. And our show, weekly show intro video places an emphasis on some people who are going to be on the show tonight. Alex Kane, Ava Marie, Ronda Rousey, AJ Francis, and Bully Ray. And we have got everybody getting an increase in popularity and 86% segment score. Next, we get a video recapping Alex Kane's rise over the last couple weeks and how he's making a move towards the United States Championship. And that video scores us an 81% rating. Our announced team hypes up the show that we're going to be seeing today, some of the matches, some of the people who are going to be showing up. Women's Champion Becky Knox, Mystico, who will be defending the TV title against Dijak, and Masha Slamovich, who is going to be in a fatal four-way to decide the number one contender for the Women's Championship. That gets us to 75%. Bill arrives at the arena, 83%, and he gains a little bit of popularity. He makes his way out to the ring. He hypes up the crowd for tonight's show, for the people who are going to be on the show. Really making an impression on the crowd. Final score of 96% for that segment. Next, we have two stables, a face stable and a heel stable, starting off a war against each other with an 8-man tag team match. So we have the group known as Top Flight with Leo Rush, Cedric Alexander, AJ Francis, and Myron Reed up against the team of the Dead Man's Hand, Bully Ray, Calvin Tankman, with assistance from EC3 and Zilla Fatu. It's our first match of the night. It got 100% crowd reaction. Wow. That's amazing. 3.5-star match, 92% final score. Everybody's gimmick helped out. The wrestlers put in huge effort, except apparently for Bully Ray, who could have put in slightly more effort. The chaos really improved the crowd's reaction. The agent did a lot of good work putting the story together. The popularity of everybody on the winning team goes up, especially AJ Francis, who got the pin. He was made to look really good, like a threat in this match, and it helped his pop go up. The losers, of course, slightly lost a bit of pop, but that might be our highest rated match overall yet. 3.5 stars, 92% final score. Next, we have Alex Kane showing up in Goldberg's office backstage. That says General Manager on the door, and he wants a match tonight. He wants to keep rising up in the ranks. He wants to show everybody what he can do. Segment gets a 79% rating, and Goldberg agrees to give him a match. And we'll find out who he has that match against later on. Next, we get a video recap of what's been going on with Eva Marie and her stable. Getting into fights with Ronda every show for the last couple weeks. We still don't know her motivation yet. Why this group has been going after Ronda. We may find that out tonight. We may not. The video is pretty successful, gets an 89% segment rating. And next we have our TV title match. Mystico versus Dijak. Mystico was a little fatigued going into the match, and it showed. But their skills raised the match quality, put in a huge effort. The agent did well putting the match story together, and Mystico successfully defends his title. 2-star match, 67% crowd reaction, 64% overall. In the next segment, we have Ronda barging into Goldberg's office and demanding a match with one of the women in Eva Marie's stable tonight. She wants to make a statement. Bill says, yeah, I can do that. I'll give you a match against Alex Windsor. And so that match is set up, and it's a 75% final score for the segment. Next, we have Alex Kane's match. He goes up against Eddie Edwards. Face heel thing. The crowd isn't all that into it. It gets a 2-star match and a final score of 53%. After that, we go to commercial for the latest round of action figures. Everybody's popularity goes up. We have new action figures for Mystico, Ronda, Saraya, Konosuke Takeshita, our United States champion, and in our women's division, Ash by Elegance. The advert gets an 87% approval rating. Next, we go back to Bill in his office, and he gives an update on the recent injuries to two of our WCW wrestlers. Maven Huffman and Tessa Blanchard. Maven has a neck injury. He'll be out for at least a year. And Tessa has a back injury. She's expected to be out for at least the next 2 months. And this gets an 89% rating. And next we go into Ronda's match with Alex Windsor. Um, she had a boost to popularity because of her gimmick. She put in a huge effort. The crowd enjoys the entrances. At the end of the match, when it looked like Ronda was going to put Alex away, um, Eva and the rest of her group, the Polly Queens, jumped in and beat her down and left her on the ground. Ronda won by disqualification, 69% crowd reaction, 2-star match for 66%. And then they continue the beatdown after the bell sounds. The gimmicks work well with the story beat. For the attack, we have a 71% rating. Then Eva cuts a promo. She starts talking about why. Apparently, when she was putting the group together, she approached Ronda to be their main event lady, to join the group, and Ronda turned her down flat. And now the objective for them is to beat her down week after week until she realizes that she made a mistake and she decides to come crawling back and join them. At the end, she gives her, a Judas Iscariot type of, or mafia boss kiss of death on the cheek. And she has her people just drop her and leave her laying there on the ground. And our final score for this segment is 76%. And then we go to commercial and advertisement for the latest round of t-shirts. Becky Knox, Brandy Lauren, who is a mid-card heel in the women's division, and Simon Miller. Brandy and Simon gaining popularity. Becky doesn't gain or lose any popularity. The advertisement gets an 89% rating. Next, we have our number one contenders match for the women's title. This is our main event. They didn't quite have the ability to steal the show. They did get an 83% reaction from the crowd and put on a 1.5-star match, 73% overall. Gimmick boost and good reaction because of momentum. But working with the agent really helped the performance. The crowd enjoyed the entrances. The chaos helped the crowd's reaction. Since the match wasn't too long, the crowd didn't get antsy during the match. Masha picked up the win. She's her new number one contender for the Women's World Heavyweight Championship. 1.5-star match. Again, 83% crowd reaction, 73% overall. And before we go off the air, Masha picks up a microphone and lets Becky know that this is it. I've got the number one contender spot. I'm coming for your title. Whether it's now or whether it's at Slamboree, you can't hide from me. I'm going to meet you in the ring. I'm going to take that title from you. And the crowd isn't used to her yet. She isn't a big name with the crowd, so she doesn't have a lot of star power yet. but she will work to get her there. Um, After all this, our general manager Bill Goldberg comes out. He makes the match official. At Slamboree, we're going to be having a Women's World Championship match between champion Rebecca Knox and challenger Masha Slamovich. And the overall score for the segment is 66%. And that's our show. 82%. That is the highest show rating we've had. This was good. We gained in popularity across the world. That is nice. That is very nice. And with that, we click in the show. We move on. We see if we see what the news is. Okay. Let's see. Okay, let's check our mail. Okay. We have some people accepting contract offers. The man once known as Grayson Waller in WWE has now joined our company. And we'll have to pick a new, see if we can buy the name for of Grayson Waller from WWE, and or see if we have to come up with a new gimmick name for him. But he's decided to accept our contract offer. He'll be joining us soon. As soon as his contract expires with WWE. But we made a steal. We got one of their stars. And we are finalizing that contract now. Okay. Shelton Benjamin, another star who's been in the business for going on 20 years now. Very good in the ring, very talented. We made an offer to him and he accepted it. And he's going to be coming to our show. And we will finalize that. We've got a new road agent. Legendary professional wrestler, women's wrestler Mickie James is joining our staff as an agent to help put the matches together. And we're finalizing that contract. And let's see. We had almost 2 million viewers on Prime. Our viewership is going up every show. That's nice. $293,000 in income, $385,000 in ticket sales. That is after the gate share clause for our wrestlers. That's nice. Let's see. We have someone named Steph DeLander leaving TNA. Let's see. Where is she going? Okay, she's going over to Japan to work for a company called Sendai Girls Pro Wrestling. So she's not available for us to hire right now. That having been said, it looks like our popularity is going up again everywhere. Yeah, I mean, it's on the rise in every section of the globe. Pretty sweet. Our finances, we've been making a profit this last month. We have a stacked roster, and yeah, it looks like we're doing well. And with that, we will call it an episode. And I thank you again for the time you spend with me. I really appreciate it. I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. I appreciate you very much. Please take my love with you everywhere you go. I'll see you again very soon. And as always, be good to each other. It's the highest calling in all the world. Show each other kindness, compassion, mercy, and love. Have a wonderful weekend. I love you all.